Today, we're going to do something very different, something we have never done before on the podcast. I have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Kathy. And I thought, what if we dive into the world of what is it like to be in the conventional medicine space and given an autoimmune diagnosis? Like, what is it like? I know I was in this space. So many of us are in this space, and it's something that we do not talk about enough. And it is so important. I get emails, DMs on a daily basis from individuals all over the world that feel lost in the conventional medicine space. So I would love for you to help me thank a very special guest. Today we have Kathy on the show. Welcome to the Functional Nurse Practitioner podcast.
Good to be here.
If you're okay with it, would you care to share a little bit about what it was like when you first were diagnosed?
Well, I feel like I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism probably 20 years ago. And that was basically I was put on medication and just stayed on medication for years and years and years and years. And then when I literally about maybe 5 years ago only, um, I was diagnosed. Someone did antibodies. I can't even honestly remember who I went to or what I did. They tested the antibodies, but then referred to me to an endocrinologist who basically didn't change anything. And she said, basically, okay, we've talked about this before, you'll be on this for the rest of your life. And that was basically all I knew. And then, so when I was, that was it. It was like, you have low thyroid and you're going to take this medicine. So when I reached a point where I just I wasn't sick, but I just didn't feel good and I was tired of not feeling good. And I kept thinking, so then through the beauty of social media, I came across your video and listened to, just what you say about conventional medicine, and there is more to it. There is more to it, and so I wanting to get to the root of things, and because basically that's what you said. You need to get to the root of this. It's not just going to, it's not going to just go away. And so that is probably was the hook, if you will, because I wanted to know what was going on and what to do about it. So I think basically for me, nothing was done in the medical world except write a prescription. I was never given any, even once they said your antibodies this means you have Hashimoto's. I had to do my own research. I don't think any doctor did that at all. Even the endocrinologist, which I thought that was the answer, was going to an endocrinologist.
Here's your super pill, right? Like, here's your pill, which doesn't actually solve the problem because we didn't get to the root cause of the issue. And then we're given a Hashimoto's diagnosis. Like, frankly, everybody that comes into my world, like you and everyone else, and I was the same in this conventional medicine cycle, that it doesn't even matter. There is no
there's nothing you can do about it.
Treatment. No, there's no treatment for Hashimoto's. And you said you had to do your own research. So what is that like? Like, isn't that something that we should be doing for you, and as a practitioner, that we should be doing for you?
Yeah. I never had been to a functional medicine practitioner whatsoever. So that was a new avenue that that I was pursuing because I didn't really know what that meant.
And I remember when we first met, if it's okay to say, it's like, well, what is this? Right? Like, what are we going to do here? I mean, just to be like perfectly frank, because so many of us we're not given any hope that there's anything that we can even do about it. Did you have doubts?
I was hopeful. I guess it was the first time that, there really is something going on. It's not just, oh, you have a low thyroid, so you're going to be tired all the time. And you're not going to feel good, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. So I think for me, it was meeting you was the first time I felt like there was something different. And like I said, doing research and seeing, but again, then I get a little like, Um, I was a little overwhelmed by all the different things that are out there on the social media world. And that was too much for me. So I went from no information to too much information to, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on this right now. And so that's sort of where I landed.
So we kind of came into each other's worlds. And you said that you saw a lot of other things out there, and I know that there are a lot of things out there. What do you feel, because when we first got to know each other, how did it feel? Like, how did it feel to really dive, and you definitely don't have to share any information about what the root causes are, but how did it feel to finally have, or did you feel like you finally had answers?
Well, at first I was in such a seeking mode, and it took a while to get to where I understood the different parts of understanding Hashimoto's, and that it wasn't something to be fearful of. I think I was more fearful when I came into it of, what does this mean? And then knowing that there were things you could do, both mentally, physically, to help. That was new. I mean, that was a new thing to me. Step by step by step by step, and brick by brick, we built the foundation of learning things that do help and did help.
Do you remember, like, was there a time when it was, wow, something shifted inside of my body?
Yeah, I do remember, and it was really just like for me, it was um, the energy level changed drastically. I mean, it was everything was an effort, and then and it took me a while to. And one day, I guess I just realized, oh, it's not an effort anymore. I don't need to go lay down when I get home, kind of a thing. Because that was my biggest. I think that was my biggest thing that flared up and does still. Um, and then the body aches, I noticed those going away because I was just thinking as I was aging, and you know, oh, this is just part of aging.
Yes.
So
We're told that it's just part of it, right? It's part of the aging process, which I completely revolt against. And you said something else, that almost like having this fear around the concept of an autoimmune disease, especially when we start researching it, because there's such scary information out there, and then there's no hope. Like, if you look it up, or if we speak to our practitioner, there's nothing we do about the immune system. That I believe I heard you say that there was some part of it where there was like a release of this fear.
yes, yes, you did. No, you did because, like you said, it was fear to have an autoimmune condition. It was, to me, it was a bit fearful because exactly does that mean? And so I guess in working with you, I learned what that means, and that there are things you can do to help your immune system, and um, so it doesn't need to be fearful.
That's pretty powerful, because if we're given a diagnosis and there's no cure, we're told there's nothing that we can do, there's nothing that we can do about it, and we're kind of stuck. And I'm the type of person that I am very anxious. So you said, like, this release of, I don't have to be afraid. For me, that's a powerful release, especially when we think about the immune system, because as well, you and we've talked about extensively, when the immune system believes, like when our cells believe there is a threat, and our mind is saying there's nothing that we can do, things only get worse. So for there to be that reprieve from that, this isn't the way it has to be, because you said, like, your symptoms, like, you don't have to lay down. That's huge.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are maybe leery, I can't think of a better word, for being around others. And I always ask people, do you play nice in the sandbox? If you had to, like, talk about what the experience was, because obviously you and I were together, but there was also others. Can you speak a little bit about what that was like for you, being in a community with with other individuals?
For me, it was very encouraging. And we shared, victories, and and then talked about if you fell off the wagon or whatever. But most of it was kind of I feel like the support system was probably one of the reasons that I was as determined as I was. I'm not a competitive person by any means, but it felt good to have other people doing what I was doing. I guess accountability is a better word, but without like feeling like I was going to get in trouble if I didn't do something. So it wasn't like that. So for me, it was, I guess the only word I can think of is encouraging, but it was vital, really, I think, in doing the program, because I think everybody, I heard other, I could hear other people what they're going through, struggles and wins, and mine were different than theirs were, but it was just encouraging to know, okay, we can do this.
Yes. And if you had the opportunity to speak to somebody that was kind of like, no one is ever really in our shoes, but in to some degree they get the diagnosis, nobody's telling us that we can do anything about it. They don't know what to do. And maybe they're even feeling like there is no road, and you had a chance to talk to them. Is there anything that you would say, like in encouragement?
There are things you do have control over in healing. It's not just a take a pill, and if it's not doing anything, you're stuck. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, and that's so important.
Well, yeah, and sometimes with conventional medicine, that's all you do. It's easy for them to just give you a pill and send you on your way. But if that's not really all you need, that then you need to figure it out. And I think that's what I would tell people, is that there are definite things you could do to feel better. That would be my first, that you can control, to have hope. And everybody wants to be able to, I would think, wants to be able to control your health to whatever extent you can. And I mean, and I'm not a superhero in any of that, but it worked. I mean, it does work.
Overall, would you say, because you're several months out of our time together, um, how do you feel like overall, how has the whole experience been?
Oh, I'm 100% glad we met. I'm 100% glad I um, went through the program, and it has made a difference. And it's made a difference physically. I do feel better. Um, and I know, and the knowledge, I think a lot of it is just knowing and knowing. So if I ever like for me, a big trigger is stressful situations. And like, instead of going down a rabbit hole of being worried that, oh my goodness, something's going on, or something, or this or that, or, going down, spiraling, my mood spiraling, or anything like that. Overall, it's been a year, because it was about a year ago this time that we met. And so I would say I'm a totally, physically, I feel a whole lot different than I did a year ago.
It's pretty powerful to know, like, we can have hope, things can improve, even when we're given a diagnosis that there's nothing anybody, like, there's no treatment for. What do we do about the immune system except suppress it? Right?
Right.
What I'm hoping to express to the viewer or the listener is that it's always important to remember we can ask questions, and digging deeper to understand the why. Not that it's always necessarily easy. Instead of the one thing, it's gluten. It's just gluten, which it probably is. Like, gluten definitely matters, but that it's more than that. It's the way that we feel about it. Like you said, like stress levels impacting,
Yeah.
and understanding the connection between that and then the immune system.
No, that's exactly right. That's how it is. Because, yeah, if you know that there's something you can do, I feel like that's empowering.
Well, Kathy, I love hearing your story. Obviously, you already know how I feel about you. I've known you for a little over a year now. I love that you felt a shift in your body. and that you are, I feel like you're telling me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that you're empowered moving forward.
That is really the overall. I was determined. I did something I didn't think could do, and it sounds silly, but I mean, to me, it was like a mountain. I think I had that experience, and so I know I could do it again, kind of a thing, if I needed to, if I like got worse or whatever. I know what to do.
Well, and I heard you say that the power of being with others going through it, that it's not, because a lot of people have went gluten free. I tried that before, and
Yeah,
if that was
it was
enough, it would work.
the whole right,
All of the
all the
different
pieces,
pieces together, coming together.
all the pieces. It was the whole picture. It was the whole package.
You're very inspiring, Kathy. And for anyone listening that is like, I don't know what to do, just know that you're not alone. I am always happy to see you, Kathy. Thank you so much for coming on today. For all of the
You're
listeners out
welcome.
there, I'll
Good to
have
see you.
information in the show notes in case you want to learn more about what you can do to empower yourself.